Hey guys, it's Wes Israelson with Give Us It Podcast. I'm here up on the mountain for season 3, where we are on the snowmobile, we're on the ice, we're having a blast. If you are a leader, you're someone who owns a business, you're someone who wants to run your business, you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is, our goal is to connect with like-minded, amazing people out on the snow, doing something fun, even on the ice. If you want your chance to be a part of something special, network with some amazing people, share your stories, share your experiences, and help grow your business, help grow our business, help connect with other people. Give Us It Podcast, where we care about the way you sit. Hey guys, this is Wes Israelson with Give Us It Podcast. We are up here on the snow, again on frickin' snowmobiles. And yes, this is photoshopped, if you can tell. Just kidding. I don't think you can Photoshop this well, but maybe somebody can. There's some powder, and we're taking away from riding time to sit with Nick here, who owns a small business, but in general owns a business and started on his own, continuing to drive forward and does amazing work. But what I want you to do is just highlight your name quick, your business name, and kind of an short intro to what you do.
Okay, my name is Nicholas Falzarano. I own Falzarano Landscaping. We're out of Park City. We do everything from maintenance to pretty much anything other than artificial turf. Yeah, we've been in business for this will be our 4th season, and yeah.
That's awesome. So why Park City?
So I originally just moved here to be a ski bum for the winter. And summer came around, and I thought, how can I make some extra cash? So I bought a little setup, and I just started cutting lawns. And then people kept asking me to do more and more, and I kept saying yes. And then it became a full-time gig.
That's awesome. So I want to dive into, so it was just merely to get you through the slow period or the down period so you can go back to skiing, right?
So once I moved here, I realized that I wasn't really a ski bum. I didn't really like it. I just actually liked living out here in the mountains. I'm from South Carolina, so kind of flat and
I've never been to South Carolina.
Flat, yeah. I lived at the beach, so, and I'm not the biggest beach person, so once I moved out here, I realized I'm not really into skiing, and I just like the mountains. But I chose Park City because I knew that there was money here, so I felt like I could make money doing something here.
That's awesome. So a lot of times people struggle to, a lot of people start businesses, right? And a lot of people continue to do them, or they dwindle or something happens. Is this what you believe or thought business ownership would be?
Oh, no, not at all. I heard narratives of like, oh, I want to run my own business so that I can do whatever I want, whenever I want. And
have endless money.
Endless money, work when I want, everything's on my say. I quickly learned that that's not how that works. I actually work a lot more than just a normal job, and there are highs and there are lows, and you have no choice but to roll with them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So run us through the experience of starting a business and what it looks like. Because when we start something, it's as easy as putting a foot in front of the other and just starting to walk, right? But to continue to build, you said you're 4 years, even though you think that's relatively young for a business. A lot of businesses fail within the first year or two, and you're still going.
Yeah, so the first year that I did it was kind of on the side. I didn't take it all that seriously, didn't really market, didn't really do anything, put out some door hangers and stuff like that. But by the end of the season, I was struggling to juggle a job and having a business. And I kept it for as long as I could doing that. And then the second season was when it felt like it kind of took off to where I got to the point where, I don't think I could manage this on my own, like just doing the work on by myself and stuff like that. And I also definitely couldn't have another job. And so then that was the first time I had to hire somebody. And
What'd you learn in that process, by the way?
I learned that no matter how much you pay somebody, no one's going to care as much as you care. And that's
I only laugh because
that's the
I
struggle.
laugh. We've got 35 total employees, and I got a business partner. So luckily I've got a really amazing partner, and we've been in the industry for 22 years each, it seems like. So for us, we understand the industry, and Alex is doing marketing, we have an interior designer, and I mean there's multiple sales guys, but we've got a really good team, right? And to the point of saying that I trust everyone. But to your point, it doesn't matter how much you pay. When 5 o'clock comes, 5 o'clock comes.
Yep, they're ready to go home or like take their kids somewhere or something like that. And you can't blame them. It's not their baby, so
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of hard to juggle that. Yeah, so I'm always all ears about what the best way is to keep everybody super motivated to your standard.
My advice is create the standard and start everyone on it when they start. Write up your standard process of everything you do today. Document it, and when you hire, that's what you give them. This is your job. This is what you expect. This is what I'll pay you for, and this is it.
Yeah.
Now, if you can do more than that, that's great, but this is what you're doing. So start with the process, is what I'd say, because that's the one thing that we didn't do great.
No?
No. Well, you're still learning.
That's the
PTO
thing.
policy sucks.
Yeah. Well, that was, so the other thing too was like I didn't want to ask, I didn't have a ton of people that I knew that owned their own business. So I had a couple people that I would talk to, but felt like I wasn't getting the information that was helping me.
It's lonely, huh?
It's lonely, and it costs you money to be trial and error. So there was a lot of trial and error. And then I quickly learned that you have to ask. You have to ask for help.
But you're up here snowmobiling. It can't be that hard.
It's not that hard. It's not that hard. Yeah, not that hard.
I'm kidding.
But
So, run us through, like in the last 4 years, what's the hardest thing you've dealt with?
the hardest thing I probably dealt with is trying to expand.
Like people or your footprint?
The whole footprint. I have a business plan, and it's I thought that once I said it, I'd stick to it. Year 2, I was sticking to it, and then year 3 kind of derailed the whole thing. And so I learned that everything's always changing. I would say that was the hardest part. From the first year, didn't really make any money. The second year, made pretty good money. And then the third year, I thought it was going to be linear. And I quickly learned that that's not how business works. So I'd say that's probably the hardest thing that I had to deal with personally. To keep the motivation to keep going when it felt like I was just running in circles or in the same spot. So I would say that was probably the hardest thing I've dealt with my own business.
And then with this being said, there's a lot of landscape companies that particularly focus in the Summit County, Wasatch Back, Park City area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a passion for it, or did it just start with, I'm going to try to make some money?
It started with making money. And I've always been somebody that likes to see a finished product, whether it's something simple like doing the dishes or something like that. To see a finished product, I like doing things like that. So yeah, it started with just about cash, and then it became, I enjoy doing this. I don't hate waking up to go do this every day. So it became more of a passion instead of just a means of making money.
And there's something pristine. It's almost like my wife will talk about this a lot. I call my wife my goddess, but vacuum lines in the carpet, that pristine, clean cut edge. For me, is the lawn. Like if the lawn looks pristine, edge it the same way, cut it the same way, and crisscross cut it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, that looks good.
Yeah, yeah. So that's like one of my favorite things is when I leave a house, as I'm walking back to the truck, I look back, I'm like, that looks so good. I like that. I like that.
Put your sign in the front yard and say,
Put a sign out there and we did that. We did that.
Yeah. This could be you.
Yeah, this could be you. This could be you.
So with all of that, what services do you guys actually do?
So we do weekly maintenance from anything from grass, weeding, irrigation systems, everything like that, to installing as well. Like I said, the only thing we really won't do is artificial turf. But that's coming. That's coming.
Good. Oh, good. You're expanding, huh?
Yeah.
Good.
It helps. Like, I have a lot of friends in the industry, so when I'm not the most knowledgeable about a situation, I have friends that are more knowledgeable and can help. So pretty much any project, we'll at least take a look at. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we talked and you said, I'm just a small business. I don't know if you really want me to be on your podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything to share.
Mm-hmm.
You own a fucking business.
Okay. I thought about this after we got off the phone. And I was like, I shouldn't even have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
But here's what I'm saying. You own a business. You know that you make up the 53% of the country that is small business. You make up a percentage of that.
Yeah. And it's funny that you bring this up. I looked at it the other day about the failure rate. And I think it's like at 60 or 70% after year 3.
Yeah.
And we're still going. So
Yeah.
it may not be where I want it to be, but we're still going. We're still kicking. So.
How many times, and maybe in lawn it works, right? Maybe in cutting the lawn the right way, but how many times do you just, even right now, we could look and see the perfect line. And you start up there and all of a sudden you have to turn and go this way.
Yeah.
Right? A business plan is a great starting point. It's a great way to get going, but you have to learn to pivot when you need to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Or the decision to delay that pivot can also cost you revenue, like you said earlier. It can cost you money.
Yeah.
So I just want you to realize you are doing an amazing thing. You're giving an employee or multiple, I'm going to say an employee, work. You're supplying your own life with money and wealth in a way, right?
Yeah.
And you're also supplying a service to customers that have a need. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn amazing. I want you to realize that.
And for the longest time, I didn't realize what was kind of going on. And then kind of at the end of the second season, I kind of took a step back. I hit my goals number-wise. I kind of actually crushed it. And I just drove around to everywhere that we did work. And I was like, wow, this is becoming bigger than I thought it would be. And people are extremely happy. So yeah, I thought it was kind of like a beautiful thing. Because I grew up with parents that went to work. Everyone I know kind of goes to work.
Right.
So it was definitely like a leap of faith to go do your own thing. And yeah, I definitely have taken a look at it and been like, this actually is pretty cool. And
I mean, the thing that people don't understand is they think being up here on the snow, having a nice snowmobile, and on a Wednesday, because it's a Wednesday, guys, just so you're clear, you got it made. It's easy.
yeah.
Do you even work?
Yeah. I know, it's all my friends that don't live in Utah. They're like, do you have a job?
I
It's
own a
Wednesday.
company.
Yeah.
Yeah. I pay payroll, I pay myself, I pay taxes, and I help people.
Yeah.
So why landscaping? Like what there's 100 things to do in Park City.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. So when I was young, right out of high school, I worked for a landscaping company for about a year, and I didn't really think much of it. I didn't like working for somebody else, so I didn't really enjoy it. But when I was trying to think of ways to make extra money, I thought, well, I like being outside, and I know there's a lot of competition in it, but I bet I can sell myself to customers. All I have to do is just have that like meeting, that interaction, and I bet I can sell myself to people. And so yeah, I just kind of took a leap of faith, and I took a little bit of money and went out and purchased equipment, and I had no customers, no nothing, and I just kind of went for it. I thought, well, if it fails, I'll lose some money. What's that? And that was kind of it.
Yeah, and I say that and I laugh because most people become content. Like, I don't want to go spend money because I just don't want to do that, or I don't want to go do this thing, or I want to show up at 8:30 and leave at 4:30.
Yeah.
That's what I want. And you were like, I want to go make money. I'm going to go spend some money, and then I'm going to go make money. And if it doesn't work, great, I just lost some money. But I'm going to just go.
Yeah. And that was it. I mean, I tried to source everything where it was like, all right, I won't lose too much if it doesn't work. But I kind of thought, well, if I spend X amount, like if I can just make X amount back and I don't want to do this, I'll call it and I'll just keep everything.
Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 28.
And how crazy, or what did your family say when you decided to do this?
My family was pretty supportive. Yeah, they were pretty supportive. My mom was definitely like skeptical. She was kind of like, well, what are you going to do if it doesn't work? And even though I didn't plan on it being like a full-time thing, I always thought to myself, like, I never thought, oh, if this doesn't work. I don't know, I just never thought that way. I kind of always thought like, well, I'll just figure it out. And I still kind of carry that today. Like, we'll just figure it out. But that was kind of it. Everyone was actually pretty supportive. Even though that, you know, nobody had really done their own thing in my family, but yeah, everyone was supportive about it.
And with each level in business, what I've seemed to find, and I've still learned, and I'm still growing, is there comes this level in which you're like uncertain about. And when you add more employees, which we were talking about this morning, when you have people that depend on their life for you to pay them, you will often go without. You won't pay yourself, and you'll pay them. Because payrolls do whether you have money or not.
Yeah.
And when you become the person that doesn't make payroll, employees start to doubt, right? And then fear sets in or scarcity sets in. So as a business, as you continue to level up is what you're doing. And I appreciate it, because for me, having another person I can talk to, whether you think 4 years is valuable or not, it's valuable. There's going to become a level where you're like, man, what do I do? Like, what happens if I don't make it? And then you get yourself around a group of people and you're like, oh, I don't care. I'm just going.
And that's like every now and then I'll doubt myself. I feel like, especially after talking with everybody today, it seems like that's pretty normal. Like,
it is. It's part of growth.
It's a part of the growth. But yeah, no, I always I was very nervous to hire I only have one employee, but I was very nervous to hire one employee just because I thought about like, well, what if there's not enough work? Like, I'd be extremely upset. Like, if I can't pay my rent, if I live paycheck to paycheck, I can't pay my rent. And to have that stress, I didn't know how that would go. And
how has it gone?
I think it's gone pretty well. It definitely is stressful at times, thinking that somebody else relies on you, instead of you just being like, well, if I don't work this week, I don't work this week, it's fine. But that person and that person's family is relying on you. So it's something I take pretty seriously, as does probably everybody else. But yeah, it can be stressful at times.
And I'm not going to say that everyone in Park City is wealthy, but say I'm a wealthy person or I live in Park City. Great. What is the experience going to look like? To have you come meet me, to have you offer the services that you know I clearly need or want. What is that experience going to be like?
So every time I meet a client, off the start, I try not to make it about what we're talking about, or what I'm there for. I try to like build somewhat of a connection with them in some way. Humans like a connection, and you're more willing to hire somebody that you like. So I usually start to ask them about their life and stuff like that. And then I'll slowly transition over to, you know, what project they're looking to get done and whatnot. So
that's cool. And it's important to me because for us, and Alex knows this, but man, I will dive into the person. I'll spend 4 hours and we'll just talk about everything.
Yeah.
And did you sell anything? No. But I know their family. I know their son's name. I know their daughter. Their daughter has a dance recital tomorrow night.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, their kid plays football and wrestles. I'm like, yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that's super important.
It is.
It makes it feel like less that you're there to sell them something, more that you care. And I've found at least that people really appreciate that.
Because people do business with people they like. trust, or what is I can't even think of it now. My mind just went
Oh
blank.
no, I know what you're saying.
Know, like, and trust. They do business with people they know, they like, they trust. Obviously, trust comes at the end in most cases, right?
Yeah.
Some people are super trustworthy up front, or they give trust out super easy, right?
Yeah.
And I say this jokingly, but it's just cutting along. Like, how bad can it be? Like, I'm just going to hire him anyway.
Yeah.
But the side of you, hey, how's your grandma? Or maybe you're talking to them about their life, or maybe they're going through something, or anyway. Just,
Yeah.
it's good that you get to know the person, right?
And that's the thing. Out of all the clients I have, there's only a couple that and not everybody wants to talk. Not everybody. Some people just cut my grass, and that's fine. That's totally fine.
Doesn't it bother you?
That's it a little bit, but it's whatever. I get that sometimes we're just the help. But I have clients that mail me Christmas cards and send me money for Christmas. So stuff like that. Like, they care. We have a connection, and yeah, they'll text me on holidays and stuff like that. So
That's cool.
And I love the connection, like, with people. I think it's huge, whether you're in business or not. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why we put this on. That's why we want to connect, because for us, man, there's so many amazing people in this world, and there's so much work in there. There's so much business in general, right? But it's going to be lonely. It's going to be hard. And it's going to try you to points that you're not ready for. But it's in those moments, as Craig said earlier, it's in those moments that define who you are.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get struck down. There's going to be something that happens, right?
There's always something that happens. And I also feel like, if you're looking at it in that way of like, it does define you. But I've also noticed that I take things from what I've learned in being in business, and I apply them to friendships, relationships, just with dealing with people at the grocery store. And I feel like it's, even if I was to close down tomorrow and go get a job, like, I've learned enough that this was worth it, not only for money, like, this was worth it on a bigger scale. Yeah.
And I think that's valuable. If someone's starting out today, being through what you've been through, what would you tell them?
I would say don't overthink it, honestly, because I felt like a lot of things, I lost out on a lot of money overthinking things. And
Like,
lost
what type
out
of things did you overthink?
Just like, are we ready for this? Like, are we capable of this? When deep down, looking back, I knew that we were, but I second guessed. And I wish I had been more open with other people, like, talking about it. And because, like Craig will say, like, just go, just do it. Like, just go. What's the worst? Like, just do it. So that would probably be my biggest piece of advice, because I feel like you're your biggest critic and you're going to hold yourself back. So.
Yeah. And Alex knows this really well, but my coach told me, commit and go. Just ship it. Just go. Don't stop. Right? So I do daily focus. We started this podcast. We're 40 episodes out and we are not stopping. Just commit. It's almost, and I know you're not married. Do you have a girlfriend?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
It's almost like a marriage in a way, but you commit to the person, right? And you got to leave no doubt. Now, there's going to be doubt whether the decision you're going to make is the right decision, or the right decision for the right time, or you didn't make it soon enough. There's going to be some sort of doubt somewhere, right? But in my wife and I call my wife my goddess, but we talk about leave no doubt. And that's what my business partner, it's what my team does. We try to leave no doubt in what we do.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're experts, just like you're an expert. And even if you're not ready or ready, AstroTurf is coming.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn and you're going to grow and you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's admirable. I think a lot of people stop way too early. Way too early.
I mean, there were tons of times I was like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing this? I think I should just stop. And then
I say that sometimes right before these episodes. Right? I'm not kidding.
Yeah. But there's just something that every time I'm like, not yet. Like, the next problem, maybe think about it again. Maybe. And yeah, no, I think that the longer that I've been in business, the more that I see that you keep pushing and you don't doubt yourself. And the less you doubt yourself, the better you do.
Yeah. I mean, there's a good thing about fear and motivation, and there's the wrong side of scarcity, right? But our culture today with social media and everything, it can be detrimental for people. But highlighting you again, you started. Most people don't. You've built a year, 2 years. Most people stop and look at where you are. You're 4 years in and running.
Yeah.
Running. That's freaking amazing.
I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate it from me to you because it's a big thing. It's a big thing. So, Park City, what areas do you guys service?
So we service Park City, Jeremy Ranch, Summit Park, Oakley, Camas, Francis, Heber. And that's about it on the back of the Wasatch.
And then with that said, what's the ideal customer, or if it, let's say it's maybe even an HOA or something, right? What's the ideal referral or customer for you?
My ideal customer is, someone that wants to share, someone that waves, someone that is pretty friendly. Yeah. I've found that I don't know if I want to phrase it that way, you don't always want a client, and it's okay to let people go. I like the ones, that typically are friendly. They're easier to work with, more understanding if something is to happen. And regardless of whether they're rich, because not everybody in Park City is rich. Some
Great.
people in Heber and stuff like that are just everyday working people. But I've found that you can tell pretty quickly. Honestly, when I go to do an estimate, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I even want to give you a bid. But I found that the friendly people, the people that, remember your name and remember that we talked about snowmobiling or something like that, they're the clients that go above and beyond for, and they're the ones that you don't want to lose.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And there's so many things I want to go into. What's your favorite thing about landscaping?
My favorite thing doesn't make the most money, but I love striping grass. I think that
Really?
because it's the most satisfying thing to leave when everything looks perfect and all the edges are done and all the lines are cut. To me it's the most satisfying.
So I understand the edging, right? Are you a 36, 40-inch cut, or are you a 21 cut? Like, what's your thing?
So it just depends on which lot.
But which one do you like the way it looks the most?
Probably like a 52. I like the way the 52 looks. I just feel like the lines are like spaced out on the right lot.
Looks like a baseball field.
And it just looks like a baseball field. And I'd have to say that's probably my favorite.
I can tell because your mouth, everything just lit up. That was freaking awesome. And it was just like we talked about earlier. This whole lake, nothing over here was tracked when we got here.
There wasn't one track when we got here, right?
No.
We're the only people that have been here.
But it'd be cool if this looked like a baseball field, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'd love it. I would love it. I'd spend the whole day out here.
What does success look like to you?
Success to me isn't so much about money, but definitely hitting goals of like showing growth. I'm not the biggest money person. I know that money is not going to make you happy at the end of the day or make you feel successful. To just be driving around and see my trucks go by would make me feel successful. Knowing that I'm just going to do bids and I see my trucks out there doing work would make me feel successful. Yeah.
That's cool. And what's your goal for that?
My goal for that is to have a couple crews that are out doing maintenance and for HOAs and apartments and whatnot. And yeah, I'm not sure.
I want to go completely different now.
All right.
Why do you like snowmobiling?
I love snowmobiling because it's hard. This is the hardest hobby I've ever had. I spent a lot of money to get this, and I had never snowmobiled before. And I'd have to say, my first season was when we had all that snow. So I felt like it was really hard. Yeah, it was really hard to learn. So probably the first 10, 15 rides, I would just go home like, why am I signing up for this? Like, this is brutal.
Were you ever scared?
I was terrified. Like, especially like going into the trees and stuff like that. I was terrified of breaking it.
Yeah.
And getting stuck, ruining everybody's day. Because I was just getting stuck left and right. So, people get me unstuck, everyone drive away, and then I would get stuck in the same spot. But yeah, I like it because it's just extremely challenging. And you can come out here every day, and it's always a challenge. Why do you like snowmobiling?
My wife asks the same question every time. 'Cause she's like, I want a beach. I want a chair. I want a drink.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's something about when you cut a lawn and you have this pristine line. Like when you can go through those trees where there's no tracks and there's nothing stopping you except for the line you want. And if you hit a tree, like there's nowhere you can't go.
No, it's endless.
I mean, there's places you can't go. Don't get me wrong, but there is nowhere you can't go. And it's like it's so pristine when you're riding through trees, not hitting them because I do hit them, but you see a bunny, a white rabbit come through, or it's not a ferret because I was educated by a good friend of mine named Chase, but I'm going to still call it a ferret, a white ferret running through the trees. Mm-hmm. And there's no one else around you. Like you don't hear anything and you just see it. Like there's something pristine about that I fell in love with. Everything's white. I'm colorblind, so everything's white and pure. There's no dingy color to me. Mm-hmm. And it's like a complete clean slate. And I'm the artist. I get to make whatever track I want.
I like that. You're the artist. Yeah, I like that.
So for me, it's almost so pristine that there's nothing else that gets that way. I mean, archery, elk hunting, I love. There's things about that by far are better in my mind than this. There's nothing better than this.
To me, this is my favorite thing to do, without a doubt. And then to be able to like come up onto a peak that most people in their whole lives are not going to see. Yeah. On like a beautiful day like this, when everything's kind of untouched, it's like a wow moment every time.
It's almost a shame to see all these tracks.
Yeah, it's a shame to see the tracks. I'm ready to like go to another spot so we don't see them.
But it's thanks for asking because, man, it's so hard to explain to people that have never done it. The best way I've told my wife is, when you vacuum the I was gonna say the grass, when you vacuum the carpet and you like the line. Yeah, I love that. I said when I cut the lawn, well, she cuts the lawn more than I do, but generally when I cut the lawn, it's perfect. Or my kids make it crazy, but I don't know, it's so pristine.
Yeah.
There's something.
And something about like getting out here too and just.
Like, I mean, being in a group of people like this, and you get to talk business and life and family and eat and rides. Yeah.
And everyone's so friendly in this. That's what I found. This is like the friendliest group when I didn't know you until today. And I didn't know anybody else here other than Craig until today. And everyone's so friendly. And I just think it's like a beautiful thing to come out here.
If we want to highlight one thing about you or your business, or what's the top service you guys provide, what would any of that stuff be?
I would say the maintenance. I would say that's our, that's the part I would like to highlight. Yeah.
So someone that's struggling today with maintenance, and you live Wasatch Back, Park City, anything surrounding area, right? Jeremy Ranch area. What's a common issue or common thing?
I would say a mix of irrigation and weeds. Weeds are a huge problem here, especially like where I come from. Weeds aren't really that big of a deal. And South Carolina, it rains a lot. So I'd say irrigation and weeds are definitely the biggest issue at least out here. Okay. And because once you have a couple, they just spread like wildfire if you don't stay on top of it.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I mean, if there's anything else you want to highlight, well, I'm all for it. What's your girlfriend's name?
Sienna.
That's awesome. How long you guys been together?
Pretty short. We've only been together like 3 months.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How'd you meet and who asked who first?
So we met at a restaurant.
Okay. I thought it was going to be at someone's house cutting a lawn or something. And you got your tan on with your abs out or something cool or.
I wish. And I asked her.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, pretty immediately.
That's awesome. So you knew. At least you knew you wanted to date her.
Yeah, I thought she was glowing when I saw her. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's a magical moment.
Yeah, that's how I would describe it. A magical moment. Yeah.
My wife and I have been together 20 years, and we'll be married 17. So.
That's incredible.
Well,
congratulations. How did you guys meet?
Similar, but I left my name and number on a napkin in Boise, Idaho, and I just said, "Hey, I think you're freaking cute." And
really? And then she called you, and that was it.
That was 21 years ago now.
And did you live in Boise?
No.
Oh, you didn't even live in Boise?
No. I was just up there working, doing furniture.
Oh, wow.
And she moved down, and man, she's been the best thing for us. And I've got 2 beautiful princesses because of my wife. And they're towheads. It's amazing. It's amazing.
What do you take from your business, and how do you apply that like at home with your family?
There's a lot of things I would say, but for me, I would say I do it the reverse. Who I am at home is who I am at work. I have to care more and leave no doubt more, because it's hard to be half your life at home and then come half your life at work and not do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So I think that leading by example is the biggest thing I would say. I do it at work and I do it at home, in a daily focus at home, in a networking or doing something completely that everyone's like, why? And whether it's networking, whether it's just pushing and going to do things, or going out to say, hey, you need carpet paint, you need this, okay, well, we can do all that. Do I know we can do all that? I didn't. But guess what we did? We did it all.
You did it, yeah.
And Alex has done a great job. Our sales team, I got to learn from my uncle, who's an amazing person. And I mean, there's nothing that we can't do. But there's a value that we provide. And that value for me is whatever it is for each person. I'm a fixer. My wife doesn't like that all the time, but I'm a fixer, right? But I would say leaving no doubt everywhere you go is one of those key things, and making sure that you lead by example. Because I believe that you train, teach, and educate. You don't have children, but you will. When you do, they're no different than an employee, although you may care more at times, or you may love in a deeper, different way.
Yeah.
Because I love all of our employees, and I care deeply. I'm an emotional person that way. But man, there's so many things that you teach, and that if you don't practice it at home, you can't. You don't subconsciously show it at work when you're on autopilot. Mm-hmm. Your conscious mind and subconscious mind need to do both, each and every place. So leading by example, train, teaching, and educating is the big thing, and then making sure that you leave no doubt. That's what I'd say. It's a long way to go, but
yeah. Okay. And how did you juggle in the beginning when you got married and everything like that? How did you juggle the work-life balance?
Very few people ask me questions, so it's just kind of weird. I love that, but I didn't. Short answer, I didn't. I took an approach of someone I'm not going to name, mm-hmm. and just did whatever's best for the business, always working. It's how I met my wife. I'd go to Boise every other week, and I'd work. I used to think working 90 hours a week was cool.
Yeah,
trying to work more than everybody. Like, hey, I got 180 hours on my paycheck.
Yeah.
And I didn't prioritize my wife at first. And I'm not ashamed to say that, in the way that I learned, once I prioritize the things that are most important, my life got better. And people around me also got better. Because if you don't prioritize things that are important, and you also don't practice what you preach, it's almost like, I think it was Jared that said it earlier, social media is fake.
Yeah.
People will understand you're fake. And there's nothing that I want to ever show anyone that I'm, like, the company I used to work for, my uncle started, and it's sad to me that's closed. I want to make sure that our employees have the best life they can have, and one day our goal is to be an employee-owned company. What that looks like, I don't know. But we need to get out of debt. We need to do our part to pay off the buyouts and the things that we've done, right? But we're also in a growth trajectory, and there's a lot of things happening. So I would say, again, I didn't prioritize my wife. She was in school, paid for school. Now she owns her own business, and she's an esthetician, hairstylist, and she owns a studio salon. And I promise you right now, we prioritize each other. Like, our marriage is better than it's ever been.
That's awesome.
But you learn from those times that you didn't do. It's almost Craig, 4 times his business shut down or stopped. 1 bankruptcy. Like,
Yeah.
that's when you learn who you are. You don't learn off your successes. I saw this thing about Tom Brady. You don't learn from your wins. You learn who you are from your losses.
Yeah.
And everyone has to juggle home, work, life balance, including your employees. So I don't know. I can't give you the right answer. I'll tell you to prioritize. What was your girlfriend's name again? Sorry?
Sienna.
Sienna. I'd prioritize that relationship more than anything.
Well, I learned that because while I was trying to grow this business early on, I had a significant other, and I did not, and that took a big toll. And I was like doing well in my professional life, but home life was not great because I prioritized working all day and then coming home and doing the stuff behind the scenes that nobody saw. But it was still, it was 6 a.m. to 10, 11 p.m. every day. So.
And this is on another episode, but I'm just going to highlight it. I would pay 10 grand to go get my ass kicked. And at the end of this whole thing, you write your obituary. As if your children's children tell you what you did. Who they are, what are their names, what do they look like, how old are they, and what things did you actually accomplish that gave them impact, or what did you change in this world? And when you go through something like that, and you write your own obituary, and then you read it to the guys you're with, and then you read it to your spouse, holy shit.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's different. Because then you're working with the end in mind. Like, I'm not going to take money with me. My kids might fight over if I don't do something smart with it. Or employees might not like me, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever, but if I prioritize what's most important to me and make sure I want to change, my goal is to impact and change 1 million families' lives forever. That's my goal. It's one of the goals. I want Give Us It podcast to impact millions of families' lives, because there's businesses that get to do this, that get to go work with employees, that get to change the way that they actually interact, which ultimately changes their family and then changes that next generation. Like, it's a massive impact if it's done right. But if you're a number, you're a DMV, nothing wrong with DMV, but if you're a freaking number, it's not going to change anything.
No, that's true.
And you can tell I'm passionate about that.
I can tell you're very passionate about that. Yeah. That's
But,
awesome, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's awesome that you came up here. It's awesome you started a business. It's awesome you run a business, because you're providing for other people to have a job and build their life. That's what you're doing. That's why it's important for business owners to get together and connect.
Very true. I definitely do forget that often. Yeah. So.
Sometimes you're stuck in, there's money due, I got this, I get it.
Yeah.
But we're just people, right? I bet you've met 1 or 2 stars in Park City.
Not personally, actually.
Really?
No. I've met people that they're not famous, but you know what they do.
Yeah. And are they just people?
Yeah, they're just people. They're actually the best people. They're my favorite clients,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah. most generous and
All right.
easiest going. And yeah.
Yeah. I just want to say thank you. Is there anything else you want to add?
I think that's about it.
I think this has been the best episode today, honestly.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I really appreciate you having me out here.
Yeah. And guys, this is Give Us It podcast. It's the last time on the frickin' snow, unfortunately, this year. Although, if it's crazy winter and Utah goes alive again, we might do something. But you missed your chance. You did not get to be cool like Nick and be up here on the snow. You did not get to shred on 2 feet of powder out there in that frickin' ice. However, if you want your chance to be a part of something, get to know this guy. Or you have issues, you have things going on, and you live in Park City and you need a landscaper, here's your guy. This is your guy to talk to. This is Give Us It podcast with Nick and Wes. Thanks, guys.